MusicalTalk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Musical Talk. My name is Nick Hudson. I'm here with Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
Hello, Nick.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you for asking me back.
Oh, it's all right. Thank you for living with me. We're going to be discussing two shows today. One brand new one and one very, very, well, not really old, but oldish.
Well loved.
Yes. That I saw very recently, last night actually, with my friend Harrison, and we recorded our thoughts on that, which we'll also play in this episode. Let's start with that, The Rocky Horror Show. One of your favourites.
Yes, I love it.
How
was it? Because I haven't seen this tour. So how...
Well, considering the last time I saw The Rocky Horror Show on stage was 25 years ago, also at the same theatre I went to last night, which was the Richmond Theatre. It's on its umpteenth tour around Europe, isn't it? It's a European tour, nearing its end in the UK. So it's at my local theatre for a couple of nights. So I went there, and I really enjoyed it. Good.
More than you thought you would?
The thing I was kind of not dreading, but not hugely looking forward to, was all the audience yelling and stuff. But as there were only two people in the audience that were doing it, and
Harrison being one of them.
Well, Harrison did some of them, but there was one guy that seemed to be. I
should have been there.
There's one guy that seemed to be. It was almost like he was a sound cue, because it was so perfect, all of it. But there were some people that you knew in the front, the two usherettes that appeared.
Yes, so...
Norman, I believe, is one of them.
One of them, yeah. But that's the nice thing about the Rocky Horror Show, is when you go to several shows, or, you do make friends through it. And there is a very dedicated group of people that do tour pretty much with this show. And, I know a lot of people that do go and do the rounds and have several costumes that they like to show off. And
there wasn't so much costumes as there were Rocky Horror bounding. Is that a thing?
Could be.
It was kind of, I'm wearing a glittery jacket and things.
Yeah.
It was the press night.
See a bit of that.
But it was also a Monday night.
That's the thing. People with the glittery jackets are people that are treading the waters. Yeah. I remember my first time going, I did kind of bound a little bit, because I didn't want to be completely... I'd never been before. I didn't know what to expect. But I knew that people dressed up. So... My first time, I had a green T-shirt that I painted the little triangle on to represent Frankenfurter's apron, and I wore some short shorts and some fishnets, I think, and a little pearl necklace as well to try and be a little bit Frankenfurtery. And then after that show, I realised that's it. I can never go that minimal again, and I have to go for it, because... the amount of...
So you showed more skin and went more minimal?
No, I didn't actually. That was when my Columbia outfit was born, and has done the rounds in however many shows.
How many times do you think you've seen it?
I couldn't say. I mean, one year I went hard and I actually sequined a pair of my old tap shoes, and I full on tap danced during the time warp as well in the aisle.
Well done.
So... it was an iconic moment for me. I'm not gonna lie. I love that show so much.
I love the songs, and I think the songs are really, really good. And you'll hear in our little review chat that I had with Harrison, it's so quick.
Yeah. Oh,
it doesn't mess around. It doesn't
hang around. It knows what it is, and it's slick, is what it is.
And I said I kind of glaze over a bit when the aliens come out and get their ray guns out and things.
I love that bit.
But yeah,
I love those outfits with the padded, I love it.
There's a song that Brad sings, which I hadn't heard, because obviously I listened.
You hadn't heard Once in a While?
No, well, maybe once in a while, but I haven't heard it very much, because it's not in the film, is it?
No, it's not. They recorded it for the film, but then they cut it.
Why?
I think it was just the pacing for the film. And they thought,
And they made...
But then that's really sad, because now I think it's a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And
it's a great Elvis parody as well.
Oh, yeah. And I went to go and see it in Bath, probably. And people just start chatting through it. It was either in Bath or Plymouth, and people were just chatting through it. And I'm just like, well, just because it's not in the film, that's Brad's big moment.
Yeah, it doesn't have a song.
Detract from, the performance or anything like that. It's such a beautiful moment. And then, but because people don't recognise it from the film, they think, oh, this is my cue to just be able to be rude effectively. So that does annoy me. So people out there...
If you want to hear more about Rocky Horror Show, we have an interview that Andy did with Rob Bagnall. Was that his name? Yeah. What's his name? Tell me his name. Rob, who's like a huge expert about Rocky Horror and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he's written a book about it, so you can go and listen to that episode. Harrison said he'd go again on Friday just to see.
Don't. If we were around... Yeah. I would have brought my mum this weekend. And I'm gutted that we're not around, because that's one of the things I like is, me then going to the Rocky Horror Show was one of those things that my mum's like, okay, I'll get involved in. And then my mum was just hooked on the tour.
I love how your mum is a third character in this podcast.
I know.
She gets mentioned every time you're on.
That's because I do go to shows with my mum. But that's what I like about it. And, it's something that we kind of had in common, and we did quite a lot. I've got to admit, I haven't seen this new cast, so I haven't seen the show since Christian Lavacum left.
And who was he playing?
He was Riff Raff.
Okay.
And he did however many thousands of shows as Riff Raff. And within the Rocky Horror
Was he the German one or the Dutch one or something? No? Because I know there's a...
New Zealand.
Okay. Close.
In what way?
It's a country in this planet.
It's not geographically close. But yeah, so I haven't seen it now without Christian. I know that my mum specifically wanted to come to Richmond to see Adam perform as Frankenfurter.
Who was excellent.
I was going to say, how did Adam stand up? Because this tour they've also got him alternating with Jason Donovan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't see Jason Donovan, because I haven't heard great things. I'm sure he's excellent in his own way, but it's a hard role to do, because either you're mimicking Tim Curry and you're not...
You can't, that's the thing.
And you're not doing a great job as an actor, but the audience, if you go too far away, will they be disappointed because they're not getting Tim Curry? Yeah,
I mean, it's bless you. It's treading that fine line, but I mean, people also appreciate that is an expectation within, this show, and you can't imitate Tim Curry. So I say everybody, I'm generalizing, but I do know people who are like, well, I'd rather they do their own thing with it, and I'm not expecting a carbon copy type thing. But yeah, I think it's more down to the design. If suddenly they were to just completely change the way that the characters look, because for so many years it has been so traditional to what it always has been, then I think people would kick off more.
You mentioned something about ladders last night.
Yeah, there was one. There's been various interpretations in the past. So there used to be ladders that the Phantoms would climb up and down. There's been all sorts of different ways that change has been put into the show. But yeah, a lot of it's almost like they found what works for them, and they're like, let's keep this going. Let me guess, was the green car still there? At the start, the front of it.
Yeah, the front of it was there.
Like this, and then
and then it had the kind of flat behind.
It had the church on it.
It had the church that rotated and became the castle.
Tower for the castle. Yeah,
and then the windows slid
opens, and then Riff Raff's there. Yeah. See, it's exactly the same.
The lighting in this show really surprised me.
Yeah.
For a touring production, it was really, really good. And the sound, Harrison and I said we'd never heard bass like it in our life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So they've done, especially at the end when the spaceship, you feel that in your chest. And that was really clever.
There as well. I love it.
And now it disappeared. It's really clever. Excellent.
I also love superheroes. Just pointing it out there while we're at that point in the show. Love superheroes.
Do you mean the
song at the end?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you just love like Batman.
No, well,
Batman.
Oh, Batman. No, but that song there as well. after when there's all the fog and they're there in their their floor show garb with like the jacket with Fred's jacket on. That bit, love it. Oh, I love that show so much.
So House and I went to see it. We recorded our thoughts, and here they are. Sitting in a park in beautiful Richmond, having a drink with my friend Harrison. Hello.
Hello.
What are we seeing tonight?
Rocky.
In layman's terms, we're seeing the Rocky Horror Show, a musical that I told Harrison before we started recording that I haven't seen for 25 years. And the last time I saw it was at this theatre. You're a recent convert to this show, aren't you?
Fairly, yeah.
Tell us about your history with it.
I don't know. Started off at the Prince Charles with a film. I'm going to see that.
With a film? The film Rocky Horror Picture Show, yeah.
Watching the sing-along, or going to the sing-along. Great fun there. And then I first saw it at the Dominion with Jason Donovan.
And you still like it? Did you take a large sip of gin?
Just a memory. Saw him again, Southend with Jason Donovan.
So, Dominion, massive theatre, Southend Pavilion, was it?
Yes.
Not so massive theatre,
It's
I'm
still
guessing.
fairly big, to be fair.
Yeah.
But,
how did it work in a 2,500 seat venue at the Dominion?
it's still... I mean, we were sat at the front, like, probably row B, so didn't really notice whether it was working or not. But it is a great show.
What do you like about it?
I think every song is great.
I agree.
There's no duds in there. That's just the whole messaging, the story, it's funny, it's interactive as well. It's just an perfect all-rounder, really. And it's not too long.
And it kind of, it was at a time when that rock and roll sound was becoming fashionable again in the 70s, because Grease had obviously... Had Grease happened yet, or was Grease... I think Grease had happened because that was in the 60s.
75.
Film was 75, but I think the stage show was around longer. When was Rocky Horror Picture Show, and when was the stage show?
1973.
Yeah. So it's that same kind of, with the Shop of Horrors as well, it's that kind of weird rock and roll is fashionable, let's make it glamorous. But this kind of for those who are not in the room who don't know about the Rocky Horror Show, tell us what it is and what makes it so unique.
It's more just an encapsulation of old B-movies, like... and especially like the Universal monsters and just that old kind of double feature, or science fiction double feature. That old camp.
A little bit of Hammer thrown in as well.
Hammer, yeah. All those types of movies, and it's a real just parody of that, mixed with sex, rock and roll,
drugs,
murder.
That's just the audience.
Especially in Southend.
I like the songs. I'm very curious to see how it works as theatre again, to see it in its original kind of form.
Yeah.
The film I find is a bit too over the top, and I don't know. It just feels like it works better on stage. Do you agree?
Completely disagree. I much prefer the film than I love Tim Curry and Richard O'Brien. So
imagine seeing it originally.
Exactly. But I mean, Tim Curry said himself that on stage he did it. On screen, he was a lot more camp than he was on stage. So it would have been interesting to see that. I mean, listening to the original cast recording, he said he almost sounds like a trucker. Is how we used to do it. And Adam Strong kind of does encapsulate that. He's more...
Is that who we're seeing tonight?
Tonight. He's a lot more masculine with his performance.
So you're doing what Hannah describes as kind of, when you first discover the show, you get so addicted to it. There are people that will just see the show in every venue around the country.
Well, Hannah says.
Yeah. He's also a Rocky Horror fan, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to keep going. It's fun to dress up. It's Monday night in Richmond, so I've kind of been conservative today. And if there are other people, then I'm ready to get the jeans off, get the heels on and get the lippy on. But if not, I'm suitably dressed to get the bus home.
Yeah. Give it a go, see what happens.
Absolutely.
Where else have you seen it? Was it Bournemouth or
Brighton? Brighton.
Yeah.
which was we were in the gods. It's still it's great fun. No matter where you're sat, no matter where you see it, it's still great fun. The audience were particularly good in Brighton.
Yeah.
Shame Jackie Clunes wasn't.
So Jackie Clunes is in it tonight. Tell us who Jackie Clunes is.
Well, that's a very good question, and it's one I've had to do much research on myself. Instead, she was in Motherland, which I think was a Sky comedy.
BBC, I think.
BBC.
With Joan Alumni.
I think it's that one.
Yeah.
Because I know there was a Manderland as well.
Yeah.
I think it was a spin-off. So she was in that. She seems to be a writer, and she's done a few TV credits by the looks of it. But she was...
And she's a narrator in the show.
She was a narrator. Painfully... it just missed the mark for me completely.
Well, maybe she's looked at her part and made it better for tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what your views on her are. Be interesting to see what my views are on this show, and I'm looking forward to it. So, Harrison, thank you for dragging me along to this. Emphasis on the drag, and speak to you in the interval. Thank you. 3 seconds later, and that one is over. It's good, isn't it? I mean, it's just one of those shows that it's foolproof, really, isn't it?
It is. I mean... A lot of people say the first act's better than the second act.
Right.
That's just because it's so fast.
Yeah, I mean, it zooms along, doesn't it? And absolutely nothing happens. I was just thinking, where's the tension?
Well, other than getting a flat tyre.
Yeah, but that's... I mean, it's kind of... Act 1 usually ends with a bit of a cliffhanger, but it's like, oh, okay, good night.
Have sex. Or they're about to have sex.
But it's just... The songs are so good. You know, they're witty and... So when I saw it, he got, unless I'm getting this confused with something later on, doesn't, I'd say Meatloaf, but he's not called Meatloaf in this, is he? He was played by Meatloaf.
But,
Eddie get his arm cut off at some point, or did they not show that anymore?
No, he just gets killed.
Because I remember seeing it and he got his arm
I've never seen
chopped off by the chainsaw, so maybe they're not doing that anymore. But there's about 3 people in the audience interacting, which is quite good.
Well, there's a fair few scattered about.
Yeah.
A particular shout out to the woman in front of us that doesn't know when to clap, so she's just clapped for about an hour straight.
Well, I felt like doing the same, really. It's so enjoyable. But the band are very, very good. I want to give a shout out to the lighting as well, which is a bit of an odd thing to say, but it's amazing, isn't it? I love the lighting, the sound. The sound is also very good. Even you commented on the bass, didn't you?
Oh, the bass at the end was brilliant.
Yeah. How's it compared to other venues?
This is probably my favourite so far, I think, because it's opening night as well.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of buzz.
It's an atmosphere.
Even though you said it would be empty.
Well, I don't know. You know, we could move forward if we wanted.
Whereas I thought Brighton would be full of fans, and it was empty. Well, it was on Tuesday night, though.
Sorry, a very fast sports car's just gone past. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Apart from Jackie Clunes.
Jackie Clunes is fine.
She's not.
You know, she does her job. She doesn't milk it too much.
No, she's just not. I don't know. I feel like
it's almost like she's expecting the audience to say things, and that's kind of ruins it because her delivery isn't very good. Because it's like, oh, I'm expecting you to say something, and one person says it. It's a good thing that person's there, but it could be very awkward if you see what I mean.
Oh yeah, well, the same for everything, but I don't know, her jokes aren't funny.
Are they their own jokes?
Yeah.
They kind of come up with them?
And that's why I think she's terrible. Compared to the other 2 narrators on this tour.
So who are the other 2 narrators?
I can't remember the names. I don't remember names.
But the person playing Rocky is amazing. The person playing Frankfurter is amazing.
Magenta especially.
Yeah, they're all very, very talented, and they're all loving it as well, which is really good. So I'll tell you if Act 2 is better than Act 1.
Yes.
But I'm enjoying it, Harrison. So thank you.
Wonderful.
Harrison, you got something else to add before we carry on?
Well, I just realised I was thinking during the show, to warp or not to warp, that is the question. Because like the first time I saw it at the Dominion, the whole theatre was up.
Yeah. During a time warp, not just the whole show.
And again at Southend it was kind of mixed.
Yeah.
Brighton were in the upper circle, so you couldn't, or you'd fall over.
Yeah.
And then here there's 1, 2 people. It's a real mixed bag. You never know. I mean, obviously there's the encore of it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's when people will get up. You know, we've all had a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But yeah, it's that kind of we will say this is a Monday night we're seeing this, so will you come again on Friday, Saturday?
I might do if I can get a good seat.
Yeah.
Or a cheap ticket.
And see what the atmosphere is like.
Yeah.
Compare and contrast on my desk essay by Monday morning, please. Thank you. Rocky Horror Show is over. I really, really enjoyed that, Harrison. Thank you.
I'm glad you did. I knew you would.
It's ridiculous in a good way. I kind of lose it when it gets into the sci-fi element, but I guess that's just more 50s parody, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean?
I'm much more interested in the horror stuff than the kind of I'm going to shoot with my laser gun and we're going to get zipped off to the planet transsexual Transylvania, which is quite fun. But it's Rocky Horror Show, isn't it? It hasn't really. No, yeah. That's all you can say about it. I like how they did the spaceship at the end. That was quite fun. Yeah, with all the fog and things.
See you in the fog. It's like Halloween Horror Nights.
We've got Mega Mix at the end as well.
That was fun.
Yes, overall really enjoyed it, so thank you very much.
Good, I'm glad.
Thank you, Harrison.
I just realised.
Thank you, Richard O'Brien, for writing that wonderful musical.
No, I'm pleased you enjoyed it, though.
If you're listening.
I'm pleased you enjoyed it. And in a way, I'm kind of glad that I wasn't there, because I feel like I would have just been like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Film or stage show?
But they're completely different. You can't argue that.
Should they be completely different?
The thing is, I say that, but then the film is all... what I love is you can tell that the creatives were the same. Mm-hmm. And I'm so pleased about that, because it meant that then the film adaptation was truthful. Yeah. And they were...
The film seems to drag more than the...
Want to bet?
Well, I always feel when you see... When I saw it on stage last night, it was, as I said, it's so quick.
It's slick.
But the stage show, the film... The
thing is, the film, it has more things like you take Dr. Scott's entrance.
Who isn't German in this production, but yet he has German...
What?
He goes, like he does all that, but then he just speaks in the normal accent, which is a...
Hang on. No, that's... Yeah, he's meant to be like that. Yeah. Okay. You're fine.
Okay. Just seems odd that he would...
no, he's like suppressing it.
Okay, fair enough.
No, you're fine.
Don't dream a bit.
And what was I going to say? Yeah, but it's like that's all dragged out in the film and things like that, and the whole like Rocky creation thing and things like that, because they could do things that weren't as explorable on stage, so they made the most of that. Okay.
I will watch it in the cinema. I think it'd be kind of nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, just here.
Yeah, cheaper. We're gonna talk about a completely different show now.
Wait, before we move on.
Yeah.
Nick Hudson.
Yep.
Did you dress up?
Well, no, because we booked it so last minute. But I did wear a pair of very short shorts, which I'm still wearing, and
you love them so much you just didn't take them off.
And I had a kind of retro spooky shirt on, so I bound.
You bound?
I bounded.
If you go again, would you dress up?
I'd like to.
Yes. Who would you dress up as?
Frankenfurter.
Woo!
Or
go Hudson!
Does anyone ever do riff raff? Because I think I make quite a good riff raff, don't you?
Yeah, we could do riff raff.
Yeah, that's your area of knowledge. From one classic American piece to another.
Actually,
it's British, I know, but parodying American culture, you could say. We went to see a preview of The Great Gatsby at the London Coliseum. It's been a tiny bit of time since we've seen it, and we're recording this episode. So, is your memory of it vague, or do bits of it stay in your head?
I still remember bits of it. One of the things that is still strong in my mind is just that walking in and seeing that set and the way that the stage was, that was iconic. I loved that. So you had, what part was it? Like the downstage bit to us, where usually you'd see the orchestra. The pit, yeah. Was decked out to be
the swimming
pool. And I loved that.
Yeah.
And
to be used later.
For bubbles.
No, well, early on with bubbles.
And also with
bubbles from Ab Fab comes out.
Hudson, I'm trying to talk. But you also had on the curtain with the the lighthouse with the green light, and it was rotating as well. Oh,
it was, many people are saying it's the greatest use of projections that we've ever seen in a show. And what I was worried about with this show was when My Fair Lady went from Broadway to the Coliseum a couple of summers ago, it was a very pared down production, and we didn't get the splendor that believe it was Broadway, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably am, I usually am, got. But this is a full clone from Broadway for a limited run, which is quite amazing. Huge orchestra for a show like this, and it has some of the cleverest use of screens I've ever seen. And
set.
Yes, but it's the blending of the screens and set.
Yeah.
Now, as listeners know, I do come from a theme park background where we've seen all this stuff before, but to see it done in a theatre,
incredible,
was very exciting. Last thing I saw that did it this well was Back to the Future.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just thought at one point, even me who looks out for things like set and costume and things like that, to actually look at it at one point and my brain go, oh wait, no, that tree isn't real.
Yeah. All those rafters in that roof are not real. And
yeah.
But the bit when in the...
Right. They brought the cars. That's one of the things I was worried about, was I was like, how...
Well, let's say that I know nothing.
Oh yeah, Nick knew nothing going into this.
I know
absolutely
nothing.
He knows nothing. I'd read the book, loved the
newer film.
The Baz Luhrmann film. Was obsessed with that when that came out. Studied the book for A level, I think it was. So it was a piece that I knew pretty well. And for you to know nothing, to have that balance be that way round for us was quite weird, because it's usually Nick going, I've seen this before, or I know this piece. But you didn't. No,
I didn't. And it was lovely and refreshing to see a big musical that I know nothing.
Yeah. The last one that you knew nothing was also me not knowing anything, and that was Hello Dolly. Another bigger
But we still knew some of the songs.
Yeah. But
this is completely blind, and that was very exciting. Plus, I love the 20s. I love the jazz stuff.
It's right up your alley.
Yeah, there wasn't as much flapper stuff in it as I was hoping there would be. Now, do you not find that after a while it does get a bit tiring though? It does, but it never seemed to have any of it in the first place.
There was a little bit of it.
I since found out I had been exposed to a slight bit of The Great Gatsby in modern culture, and that was a Family Guy episode that parodied it. And that had, in a way, better music than the musical did.
Well, it was more time accurate, but you said that there was a reason as to why there wasn't a lot of 20s
Yeah,
accurate.
I think the choreographer wanted to explore more kind of African-American sounds and more of the kind of surrounding era, let's just say. And plus there's a bit of pop musical theatre in there, which I didn't think had a place, but it works for the moment. The songs are very thrilling. The cast are wonderful. I think it's one of the best casts. Good. And there's someone you were quite excited to see.
Yes, it wasn't until the end when we were looking at the cast and I'm like...
Fishnets and Trevor Nunn on the tube.
Oh my God, yeah, that was a different story. But, yeah, it wasn't until the end of the show and we looked at the cast and I was like, that was Corbin Bleu.
Now,
High School Musical's Corbin Bleu.
Now, Corbin Bleu sounds like a brand of cheese to me. So who's in High School Musical and lots of other things as well. Jamie Moscato, whom I last saw in Moulin Rouge, was excellent. Has a lovely, rich baritone voice.
To Gatsby.
Yeah. And Frances Mailey McCann is Daisy. I want to give special bravo to Amber Davis, who was Jordan Baker.
Oh, she was good.
And John Owen Jones as Maya Wolfsheim, and Rachel Tucker as
as who?
As Myrtle.
Nice. It also had Joel Montague in it as well, didn't it?
Yes.
He was really good.
As George Wilson.
Yeah.
And John Robbins, friend of the podcast, Tom Buchanan. So that's the kind of, along with Corbin, that's the leads, and it's a massive ensemble. all working there. What's It's Off, and it's just to show that the songs are fine.
One too many ballads, I think.
Yes, this is a problem with musicals
now. It was a
now.
ballad-heavy show, and once you've heard one, you'd heard them all. I think,
and they all kind of have the same tonal quality. So I don't know if you noticed, every song ended, I'm going to sing a massive big note that isn't part of the key, and then it ends on a kind of button that was the key. But I found that quite thrilling. The one bit that does stick out in my mind is there's a certain scene that got a giggle.
Oh no, are we moving to that already? Because I had
no, go on if you have other thoughts.
I was going to say, like, when it comes to the songs, I do feel the tone, like you said, some of the songs had a bit of a miss. Like the Time for Tea song, or It's Only Tea, whichever song that was. Basically, as Gatsby is preparing for Daisy to come over to
Only Tea,
Nick's house for tea, and there's this kind of song and dance number to kind of bring things a bit more upbeat, but it turns Gatsby into a real comedy character. Now, you could say that that's because you don't really know what to expect with Gatsby, but for me, I was a bit like, it's trying to make him a comedy character when he's not a comedy character. And it was a bit weird to kind of see that shift. And it's like with the shirts, he was the one that threw them all, not Daisy. So I don't know. There were just an odd few things. It's a bit like, okay.
There's when the musical first opened at the Paper Mill Playhouse, Gatsby was the narrator.
Oh no.
And there's no mystery to him. He just appeared at the beginning and they changed
because you have the book is Nick is the narrator.
Yeah.
Nick Carraway narrates the whole book. Why change that? I don't know. But I mean, it's a very good show. It's one of those you can see your money on stage.
Your new money on stage.
I liked that song. But I loved the fact as well that they actually brought the cars out.
Yeah. And you were saying that the yellow car is iconic.
Yeah, the car,
the green car in Rocky Horror and the yellow car in this show, they're the kind of...
Yeah, they're the scene stealers of this episode.
And then they flew.
What was I saying? Yeah, so I did wonder, because of how we've seen cars on stage before in various ways, I was like, are we just going to get a little bit of like a minimal? But no, they brought the full cars being driven by the cast, and I loved that so much.
But do you think if they didn't, it would lack something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that moment when a full car came out on stage, I was like, oh, they did it, and they did it properly.
And we have to give credit to the originally the sole producer of this show, which is Chun Soo Shin, which is he's a Korean producer, and he'd had other kind of shows that he was involved with on Broadway, but this is his first show by himself. And he raised, I think, $25 million, the Broadway production cost or something, and now they've mounted it here at the beautiful Coliseum, and it was a real delight to see. Now, you said you would go again. You'd take your mum, wouldn't you?
I would take my mum. Yeah, definitely, because it's something I knew that she wanted to see. But I mean, we got a good deal with seat prices, and I think paying the massive rates that they want for some of those seats.
But you said you saw your money on stage. How far would you go to say you still would see your money on stage?
I know, but when they're trying to charge £200 a ticket to come and see this, personally, I don't think it's worth that. Pay you what we did, you see your money on stage. I get it. They have to charge a certain amount to be able to afford to put on the show. But yeah, it's that fine line of, I feel like I've, paid my price and I'm actually getting my money's worth for what I'm seeing. But then also, hang on a minute, charging over £200 a ticket for this show.
I think a show like that is. I'm not defending it, but I'm saying
I know
it's better than a play that has one person in it, and because they're a big star.
Yeah, no, I get it. I really do. But it's just one of those things that I think if you're going to part with that amount of money in this day and age, you have to really want to go and see it, because not everybody is going to have, oh, it's £200 I'm sitting on, let's go and see Gatsby tonight. So I don't know. And that is, I think, I mean, it's not just this show, but I think it's one of those things for theatre in general, especially at the moment, because yes, they need the ticket prices to be high enough to be able to cover the cost of the show, but also for it to still be affordable enough for the majority to come and see it. But no, it's a hard one. If I could get it for a good enough price, yes, I'd definitely go back in and take my mum. But it was also one of those that I was pleased that we were in the circle for as well, because I feel like we got an excellent view from up there.
Care to guess how many in the orchestra?
25?
19, which is
fair.
one bigger than Phantom of the Opera, which has the largest orchestra in the West End. So congratulations to the Great Gatsby for doing that extra one member. And
also, we were saying that the Coliseum is a very big venue.
The biggest.
The biggest venue.
Even I shocked you with the dimensions of the stage.
It's huge. But I think that this is a show that fills it nicely. Like, I know when Rocky Horror did the Dominion, I feel like I didn't see it there, but the type of show that it is, I feel like it's too big of a venue for the show. Whereas something like Gatsby
wouldn't work at the Richmond, but works perfectly here. So they've gone big with the show. They really have gone big. One of the things I love most is the show opens and Gatsby's on stage, and as a panel slides across, it changes to Nick Carraway, and then at the end it's Nick Carraway, and it changes and it goes back to Gatsby, and I loved that. So it was so slick. It was the bit I like, which I mentioned earlier, was when they're in the car and suddenly these kind of tunnel beams just through projection and however else they do it, it's wonderful. But you do get the real set pieces, like the famous spectacles looking over you, and you get
with the billboard with the doctor on.
But I want to end it with the bit that, spoilers if you haven't seen it, turn off.
Spoiler alert incoming in 3, 2, 1.
A character dies in this show.
No, we've already done the spoiler alert, and
right.
I gave a countdown. So if
Fair enough.
No, I'm going in. So at the end of the piece, Gatsby dies. I won't say who kills him, but he dies and he's shot. Gatsby then falls into the swimming pool,
which is the orchestra pit. And
it's like I said to you, that if there were a school group having to analyse this play, that would be the number one thing, that the pool was there all along, and we never saw Gatsby in it, and his death was foreshadowed throughout the entire piece. So it's there. It gets used for some bubbles in it, for a party scene.
Swimming pools are well known for creating bubbles.
It might be a jacuzzi pool, pipe down. And so Gatsby falls into this pool. And he actually fell off the edge of the stage, which was great. Yeah. It wasn't just
if you're in the balcony, you see him lying on a
That's hilarious.
On a kind of crash pad thing.
Oh, I wish we'd been up one higher now. That's hilarious. But also, it's the sound effect that was put on, that little bloop.
By which she means the water goes bloop, bloop. Yeah.
I was not made to be a Foley
artist. It's odd, and it's
but it just made it really funny, and it's like
it reminded me of Moulin Rouge when she's dying.
Yes. Do you ever feel
like a paper bag?
Oh, do you ever feel it's a paper thin? Oh, yeah. So that's the vibe it gave me as well, of such a serious moment. And I think for Gatsby, for him as a character to be so infamous, to then kind of be struck down by this, and that's it. It's kind of like, well, was that an intentional choice for it to be
they say
serious?
They say what makes it funny is the gap between the two gunshots. And also, he sings this song, he ends the song, and then he gets shot.
Yeah, you kind of...
It should happen mid-song to do the world a favour.
No, I wasn't going to say that, but I was going to say it would have been more dramatic to happen mid-song. And also, because the whole of the song, I'm sitting there on edge like, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And then he finished the song, he got his round of applause, and I'm like, he's still alive. And then it happened. And then, even after that, then he falls, then... So it was, I don't know. It was just a bit like...
anticlimactic.
It was, so...
And also, nitpicking here, it has a very moody ending before, and then I thought...
And then
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, curtain down, that's the end. But no, it does what all American shows have to do, and they have a big happy...
We've got to come back out and sing
ending.
a song.
It's like, no, you don't.
Woohoo!
Just end the show. But other than that, I think it was very enjoyable. I would go again. Woohoo! I think after discussing it, it's whetted my appetite to see it again. Now
just don't say that near a swimming pool, all right?
Next week, speaking of shows I haven't seen for 25 years, I am going to see Mamma Mia on stage, as are you, Hannah. And be interested to see...
I'm buzzed. I love it.
How that's changed. We're also going to see a Star Wars strip show.
I am so excited for that.
Which is going to be interesting. And until then, when we will discuss both those shows, thank you very much, Hannah, for joining me for this week's episode of Musical Talk.
Thank you, Nick.
And we shall speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Musical Talk. To find out more about the world of Musical Talk, you can visit our website at musicaltalk.co.uk, where you'll find all our episodes, or you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Musical Talk.